Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday, everyone. As you can see, in my pre-morning warm-up on my IQ Capital account here, um, took a few shorts this morning. We inversed off this 1 minute fair value gap, inversed off this second 1 minute fair value gap. Then price started to retrace and come back down, retrace, come back down. I'm confident in the shorts that price wants to sweep these lows. Will it do it before market? It's anyone's guess. We had PPI this morning, um, which caused some bullish reaction in the market. So far, my shorts, when it was coming back up, I kind of got out of it. So we're down 180 so far on our pre-morning warm-up. Let's see if we can get some of that back. So I'm using my IQ Capital prop firm account on this deep charts platform. I'm new to this prop firm. I like the chart. I like the platform here. These deep charts is similar to TradingView with the tools that you can use and everything. I also have my Apex 50K account here, brand speaking. So I'll try to save this for some once the market opens. See if we can get some. Have ES over here, NQ over here. So with the IQ charts, as I said before, I picked this account up for $9. So if you go to iqcapital.io and use code MAV, you can get that amazing discount, $9. It's a full disclosure. It's a welcoming package that they offer everyone. However, if you use code MAV, it will help me as far as supporting myself in this channel. So that'd be a good thing, full disclosure. But anyway, just to spread the love to everyone, if you go to iqcapital.io and look and accept their 50K account welcoming package, you will have access to the 50K eval for only $9. So it's a good deal. So let's see. So we had some looks like we're getting some volatility there on the charts. So Nasdaq has really been a drama show lately. Up down, up down. We've been in a lot of consolidation lately. I'll switch over to my trading view here so we can see what's going on. Here's the daily chart. Here we have a lot of consolidation here for the past several days. Here we have created a sort of a wedge here. And it looks like price may be trying to break out of this wedge, in my opinion, to the upside. So if we break out this wedge to the upside, I kind of marked this daily wick here that's been holding price down. It's been holding price down lately for the past few days. So I marked this daily wick for these levels. So let me get this out of here. So once we hit up into these areas, if we break out of here and hit up into these areas, it's a good indication that we're breaking out of that wedge of consolidation and may continue to see higher prices. On the flip note, we could inverse this 4-hour fair value gap here. If we inverse this 4-hour fair value gap, for me, that's more indication that we'll be headed to the downside. It has kind of like a indecision doji candle here as of now. So let's see which way it decides. For me, okay, so we swept those 8 a.m. highs. So for me, right now, what I'm looking at is, since we swept that 8 a.m. candle high, I'm looking for price to head down towards the 8 a.m. low at about the 856 area. So let's see what we can do here. So let's see where we go. It looks like it's heading down that way. We bounced off that 1 hour fair value gap, and that was part of my decision for taking shorts this morning. So we may see a sweep of the lows here. We also have a 1 hour fair value gap that's been unmitigated here, so we may see price shoot down to that 1 hour fair value gap and then go for higher prices. That's what I'm looking at as of now. So we're ready to hit open. Got about 1 minute to open. So let's see. We may get wicked out here on our pre-morning warm-up. If price wicks up. I'm not going to drag my stop loss up there. I'm just going to let it do what it does. Although the protected high would basically be up towards that area there. And that's exactly what we've seen there. So we're getting an aggressive move to the upside. So I'm trading this account aggressively here, so I'm going to stick with my downside move here. Jump back in and see if we can't get that push to the downside that we were expecting. Yeah, so it looks like price wants to head to the upside as we're trading inside that 1 minute fair value gap. If we close outside of that, the top of that 1 minute fair value gap, I'll just close it out. But that 930 manipulation, it's either way. It's designed to trap traders and long short. So you gotta pick a spot and go for it. When you're doing this type of aggressive trading. So it's like we're gaining in our direction here. So I kind of just want to let it ride out. So there we go. Let's get a continuation to the downside. Would be nice. But when does NQ play nice? Not lately. But everything says that we're headed to the downside first. Hourly candle still looking quite bearish, although we did get a slight rejection off the prior day highs, which we did start trading above. Although I'm trading this account aggressively, I do care about it. It's like in all trading, I don't want to develop bad habits. So once we get, we're down 392. Once we get the P&L to at least a break even, I'll try to protect these profits here by dragging my stop loss. I just kind of want to give it some breathing room. Don't want to get dragged out here and still be in the negative. So I'm looking at the just the bottom of this body candle here. This was that news candle there, so we may see if we can try to recover some of that there. So it wants to push down, it's trying to push down, just getting a little bit of trouble there below this area of buyers that we had here. So once we break below this area, we should be able to get some smoother transition to the downside. So I'm gonna close that, gain some of those gains there. I'll jump back in as I see some rejection from the upside there. A little bit of rejection there. I want to break below this level here. Yeah, see, we're reversing back up. I would have liked to see it gain more, but I'm just going to take what the market's giving me. So it allowed me to, regain about $100 from this morning. So I'll take it. But overall, this isn't the overall setup that I'm looking for. That 1 hour candle is retracing nice. It's creating a big bottom wick there. So we're rejecting off that 1 minute fair value gap again. Looks like we may break below that area. I'm gonna let's see. Hopefully. So we'll maybe jump in early as we're coming back down to try to retest that area. Usually we got down there 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4th time down. So usually the more times we hit an area, the weaker it gets. So I'm just banking on it breaking below that area with a nice body close, and then we can shoot on down to a TP. There's a lot of indecision here now, so the area we're in now, the 1 hour candle is bearish, but the previous 1 hour candle, we're approaching that wick where we bounced. Hopefully we can dig into at least 50% of that wick. So we're almost, if we can body, I'm looking for a body below this area here. We body below that area, It tells me we'll dig into at least 50% of that wick, which would be about the 885 area. So there we go. Let's hit some. Let's hit that TP. No, I wanted to drag it. I wanted to drag it and try to walk it down. So we're currently up 210 on our P&L here for our pre-morning warm-up. So I'm just going to take that. So now we're approaching. We did cover that. We're approaching those 8 a.m. lows, which let's show you here. Let's get over here to my trading view screen. So here is the 1 hour chart on trading view for NQ. So here is that 8 a.m. high, that 8 a.m. high there. So once price went up, we created a new hourly candle at 9 a.m. Once price went up, rejected that 1 hour fair value gap, crossed those 8 a.m. highs. Now I'm looking to the next draw on liquidity is the 8 a.m. lows, which, you know, through back testing historical data, that's typical. Likewise, when NQ breaks, if it had broke the 8 a.m. low first, I would have been looking for a draw on liquidity at those 8 a.m. highs. So now what I'm looking for is price to break below those 8 a.m. lows. We just took London low, and below here we have a 1 hour fair value gap. So here also we are into a 15-minute fair value gap. So what are we going to do here? Which tells me, since we have a 1 hour fair value gap there and a 15-minute fair value gap, and they're both bullish fair value gaps, once price taps into that area, that may be a good area for a reversal. So once we tap into that area, I'm going to switch over to the lower time frames and see what indications the market gives me of a possible reversal to the upside. We haven't tapped in quite yet to that 1 hour fair value gap, which is that 837 area. And so we got continuation to the downside there. We're almost tapping, but as closer we get to that 1 hour fair value gap, we're starting to reject to the upside. Okay. Going to the pool. Okay. So here, as we tap that 1 hour fair, what I'll do is I'll tap to the down. Be careful, Shiloh. Don't touch my cords. Thank you. Don't touch my cords. So we inverse this 5-minute fair value gap. So what I'm looking for now is a possible inversion of this fair value gap here. So if we invert this 5-minute fair value gap after a tap of that 1 hour and that 15-minute. So we've tapped that 15-minute. We haven't quite tapped that 1 hour. Stop touching my cords. All right. So we're tapping into this 1 hour and this 15-minute fair value gap. Crossing those 8 a.m. lows. Now what we're looking for is some type of indication of a reversal, a V-shaped recovery, inversion of the fair value gaps, so on and so forth. So as of now, that's what we're looking for. I'm done with my pre-morning warm-ups on my IQ account there. I'm going to switch over to my Apex 50K account and look for more disciplined trade according to my strategy. So the strategy now, the plan now is tap into this 1 hour fair value gap. We've tapped into this 15-minute fair value and respected it with a nice rejection. So that may be all we need. So now what I'm looking for is, on the lower time frame, an inversion of this 5-minute fair value gap. And then we'll go down to the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute, we have a nice V-shaped recovery there. And a change in state of delivery may be in effect. Looking to see if this is just a pullback or is this a reversal. So for some, this bullish engulfing candle would have been enough to get in. For me, not quite. I just like to see some sort of inversion. This is on the 1 minute time frame, which pretty much aligns with the 5-minute fair value gap as well. See how we're rejecting off that 1 minute fair value gap. So we may be continuing to the low. It may want to tap that 1 hour fair value gap before heading lower. That was our tap into the 1 hour fair value gap there. Approaching consummate encroachment of that 1 hour fair value gap. We can wick, but as long as we don't body below it, we're looking good. We have about 14 minutes left on this 1 hour. So price can go all the way through this fair value gap. As long as it closes above consummate encroachment, we're still bullish. We may get a retracement all the way down to Asia lows. That's our next draw on liquidity. So let's see. As of now, it looks like on the 1 minute, what we are doing is down, pull back into this order block here and a rejection downward.
Order fill.
So, being as though we're on a continuation, the downside, I've entered into my pre-morning warm-up account. I'm going to drag my stop loss there into profit. What I like about this, it shows you, so we're about $75 in a profit there.
Order fill.
Okay, cool. Gain another $75 there. Kind of just chip away at it. Being as though we're not getting any indications of a reversal to the upside yet that I'll be comfortable with, I'm going to continue to try to walk this down, possibly to them Asia lows.
Order fill.
So it looks like momentum's kind of slowing up here. I'm trying to be a little careful here. I don't want to take off all of our profits that we got here. But yeah. So let's get a push down. This will be my last jab on this account here. And we took that. I'll take that. So we're up 312 on the account. I'm not going to press this account anymore. We're getting close. I'm not going to be greedy. It looks like we're going to get a little bit more to the downside. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm just going to take what we got there. And go from there. So we got 745 for Asia lows. We've still got 10 minutes left in that 1 hour candle. If you want my opinion, I would take a guess that we might body below that 1 hour fair value gap, inversing it, which would indicate prices to be a lot lower for today, which would be our next draw on liquidity, would be our prior day lows after Asia low. So this could be a continuation day.
Order filled.
I'm going to take a jab at it again there. Just get those couple points to that low there. Pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take that. We're up 355, just a couple dollars there. And I'm not gonna press it anymore. We did kind of hit our TV there. Yeah. I'm just not going to press it. It's not good for my mental health. So I'm just going to look. If I do take any more trades here, what I'm going to look for is a nice pullback and a rejection. And then that would give me indication of continuation to the downside. As of now, we just getting straight, kind of sort of what we had here. We had a slight pullback, then a rejection off this 1 minute fair value gap, and then continuation to the downside. Right now, price is kind of just stalling down. As you can see, we've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades this morning so far. We're up 355. I'm risking about 5 micros per trade, so that tells you I'm in and out these trades really quick. I did take a few losses there on these first couple trades. Then the last few trades were gains. So my gains were a lot bigger than my losses. We had about 3 little short scalp losses. Then we had we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so we had 3 losses and about 5 wins there. So here we go. Let's see what the S&P is doing. This hourly candle is nuts. We got about 8 minutes left in that candle. It's a lot left in that candle there. Right now we're approaching area where prices bounced. We do have another 1 hour fair value gap here. On ES, we have a lot of area of support here. There's a strong area of support here on ES. So we'll mark out this candle here. What I may even do is break into this candle here. This candle has been holding price down. This wick has been holding ES down for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. It hasn't been able to break this wick. So if we break this area here, yeah, it's definitely showing us something. And here on ES, we have a big wick to the upside here. So we have major sellers here on ES. In Q, not so much. We are entering that area of support there with NQ. We do have a bearish SMT here where ES wicked the highs, NQ didn't, and continued lower. So there we go there. So there's that pullback. There's that pullback I was looking for. As far as a rejection area, the closest fair value gap would be way up here. So let's see what we got here on Q. So we are getting some rejection signals here. ES looks a little bit stronger than NQ. We're above our MAs here. We do have 1 minute fair value gap there. Let's see if we can inverse that. We had a small one here that we did inverse. Let's see if we can inverse this one with a nice body close, and we may be looking at a so those two wicks there is respecting this 1 minute fair value gap, which is about this candle's about to close in about. And so it doesn't look like we're going to body above this candle here. Maybe coming down to retest. Body above this fair value gap, coming back to retest this inversion. We had a nice rejection off that inversion. That's the start of that inversion fair value. It's very small, but nevertheless it's there. That's that fair value gap there that we respected. Came back for the retest. I'd still like to see a body above this fair value gap here. before we enter. Let me just check something here. I hate when that happens. My data trading view is, so we got a body above there. Now it's retesting. It's just so wicky there. It's so wicky. I had to check my trading view. I thought for a second there that sometimes my data won't recur as it should, and I'll be lacking. Alright, so there's to the upside there. I really want to take that. We did invert on ES there. I did want to take that. I may go over here to NQ. So on the 5-minute chart, we do have a very tiny small fair value gap right there. Got about 3 minutes left on the 5-minute candle. This is our 5-minute fair value gap. If we inverse this with a body, I'd be willing to take that on NQ. It looks like I kind of missed my entry here on ES, which I wanted to take it there off that inversion. This candle here kind of talked me out of it. But we did wick, respect this fair value gap, and came up for higher prices. So hopefully similarly, NQ will get an alignment with ES as ES is starting to try to pull back again. Maybe trying to retest this 1 minute fair value gap here. So if ES respects this 1 minute fair value gap and NQ can ES maybe trying to retest this area here on the 1 minute. And it's pushing back up, looking for NQ to body above, which looks like it will. So let's see if we can get a body above that 5 minute, because we have another 5 minute above there, which could cause for a rejection. We do have some targets up here. We have New York Open, we have London High, and those are pretty spread apart. We have so let's wait for a higher probability trade here and see if we can't get something going off of this 5 minute inversion. So we didn't body above that 5 minute fair value gap. So we may be looking at a short play here. Would have been a nice little 10-point scalp. Boom, boom. So this is the area of rejection here. We respected that fair value gap. So we are shooting above that 1 minute, and we're currently above that 5 minute. So will it shoot? So I'll look for a slight pullback before I get in the entry here. We bodied above this high, which was a nice change in character there. I'm gonna wait and see if we body above. We're currently rejecting off of that top 5-minute fair value gap. We're currently rejecting off of that 5-minute fair value gap. I may want to wait until we inverse this 5-minute. We inverse this 5-minute and then shoot for that New York Open. We're on this 1-minute fair value gap here. Let's see what they want to do here. Was they retracing deep into there? Maybe trying to retest this area here. At 5-minute. There's a big wick on top there. Big wick on top of this 5-minute. I'm looking at this 1-minute area here. That's a 1-minute fair value gap. We rejected off of this top 1-minute fair value gap, rejected off of this 5-minute fair value gap. If we inverse this 1-minute, maybe looking at lower prices. We have so I'm looking here. We're currently in discount, which is telling me we're looking at possible longs here. I pulled it from these highs here. We tapped our OTE area and rejected perfectly, which lines up with our inversion fair value gap. Our 1 hour. We did not inverse the 15-minute. We did not inverse the 1 hour. So longs are still in play here. Longs are still in play. I just don't want to get in too early. I want to see some more structure. I want to see some more confirmation before jumping in here. 15-minute candle's looking good. That bottom wick on that prior 15-minute candle. Had that inversion on the 5 minute there. Coming back down to retest that bullish 1 hour fair value gap. This was an inversion of a bearish 5 minute fair value gap. So it looks like we're getting a retest of that 5 minute inversion. So this is that weekly wick that I marked out here. Those are these purple lines here. That's what I would consider a higher time frame area. We're currently below 50% of that wick, which indicates lower prices. We have a nice bottom wick on that current 1 week candle. On the daily here, I get rid of that there. Yeah, see, we're looking at Nasdaq just falling down there. So glad it stayed out of those longs. We rejected off the 4 hour fair value gap. Off this 4 hour inversion. We inverted. We inverted this 4 hour. We rejected that from off that 4 hour. There's that 4 hour that we rejected from. And that is an inversion. We came down into that 15-minute fair value gap and that 1 hour fair value gap. Looks like below consummate encroachment, respecting consummate encroachment of that area. Got about 12 minutes to a new 15-minute. If we body below this 15-minute, let's see here. Bullish. This was an inversion to the upside, and we came down and blew that, so that's no longer of any consequence. This was bearish. We inverted to the upside. Now we're coming back down to reclaim this 5 minute. If we reclaim this 5 minute I'm looking at lower prices. If we reclaim this 5-minute fair value gap, which got about a minute 20 seconds, I'd be looking for lower prices down to Asia lows and that 745 area. We got about a minute left. About a minute left. A very small 1-minute fair value gap that we're respecting here. So all I need now is a reclaim of that 5-minute inversion. Here's that 1 minute. That's that 1 minute bearish fair value gap that price is currently respecting here. I'm just looking for a can we buy it? I think we got it. I'm gonna get into a sell here. I'm gonna jump in there. I'm gonna pull my stop loss down there. This is the Apex account here, 50K. This is the one I'm a little bit more careful on. So let's see. We picked up about 300 on that one. I was walking it down. It kind of got me on the pullback. Maybe looking at lower prices there. I wanted to walk it down even lower. We haven't quite tapped Asia low yet. It's just dancing around there, but it hasn't quite taken it yet. We picked up about 300 bucks on that trade there, which was pretty good. And I'm not gonna. We're approaching that 10:30 hour. The way price is going today after news and all of the indecision, volatility, may just park it and regroup. We did good on our pre-market. We took some trades on the pre-market there. Currently up 355 on that account. Here we're up 300 on this account. So I think so far today it did pretty good. As it goes, we may be looking at further push to the downside. I'll just hang out just for a few more minutes here to see what price is going to do after we break these Asia lows. Which we've broken those Asia lows there. We could just be looking at a nice fall to that area. We do have relative equal lows down there. That 5-minute candle looks nice. Look at that 5-minute candle. Boom. Yeah, I wanted to stay in that trade. I walked this down. I just didn't have, I only had the target I put there were Asia lows. Besides that, didn't really put on a target. And we're below everything, below VWAP. Well, it just looks like it's nothing holding it back. So I'll look for it. I'll look for a pullback into my moving averages or fair value gap for a continuation to the downside. Yeah, this was a good $1,000 move here, man. If I hadn't got hit on that pullback. Look at that 5-minute. Got about 10 seconds left. Man, I just want to. And we're approaching those relative equal lows there, which is around about 547. Here's my target. These are all those engineered lows from yesterday that we were trying to get. That price never came back down to. So maybe it's hunting for it today. Yeah, we're getting some resistance here. So we are in an area where we did bounce from yesterday on the 1 minute. We are in discount on the 1 minute. There are other lows here. So currently we're at around 661, which was a bounce, a big pivot point. Next we have 639. Then we have 568 and ultimate lows of 545. So it could bounce from any one of these areas. So taking a short from here is very, very low risk. I would suggest it. But we do have a lot of momentum to the downside. These are weak lows. So if we inverse, looking at some possible inversions. Let's see if we can't inverse. Inverse this first. Oh, 1 minute here. we inverse this 1 minute here, we're looking at maybe a possible reversal. A nice rejection off that 1 minute fair value gap. We were pushing through it on this second candle. It's been a nice little scalp there off of this first 1 minute inversion. This is my paper trading account that I was in. I started out at 100,000. I've just been trading this account. Of course, we don't have the rules of a prop firm, so I have more leeway in trading this account. So I'm currently up 54,000 on this paper trading account here. I haven't taken any trades on the stream on this paper trade account. All the trades that I've shown were on my prop firm account. So there's real risk involved there, at least the risk of the purchase of the account. And either way, it's money. So, but sometimes if you do see me take anything on TradingView here, there's just paper trade accounts, and basically for just to show where the trade is if I can't switch over to my other account, and you know where my entries are and things. It's just like when I pull the tool up, so on and so forth. So let's see. Looks like a nice rejection off that 1 minute. So that looks like it was a pullback, and it looked like we're headed back down to those lows. I just don't feel confident enough in taking it right here. If I kind of slept a little bit, I would have took it off of this candle here and caught that. Because this is an area of strong resistance here. If we break through this area, we're definitely looking at lower prices. Volume's kind of weak, getting down there, but it's pushing. It's definitely pushing. There's that area. So it looks like we got a rejection off that 1 minute fair value, a bearish fair value gap, came down into this area of support and got held up here. So we may be trapping those shorts that just thought this was a pullback. Was this a lower high? Or was this a higher low? We'll see. This is the decision maker here. If we break this high, then we have a higher low. If we break this low, then we've had a lower high. Let's see. Another rejection off of that 1 minute. So it looks like we may be pushing to the upside there. And this may have been a higher low. The S&P is looking a lot more bullish. The structure is totally different on both of these indices. They're not aligned at all. And then now they're both pushing down. Yeah, they're currently both trying to push to the downside here. But as far as the structure is concerned, they're just all over the place. You can see here we have, and then over here we just have this one. Okay, we may be pushing to the downside. Here's that target there. Like to maybe try to jab if we break below this area here. Where are we at? 10:30. That was a strong break below there. Pull back. Are we gonna drop? Or is that just a teaser? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna follow my better judgment. Got a nice wick there on the top. Nice wick. Nice wick there. Got 2 minutes left on the 5 minute. That 5 minute candle looks good. Pulling back on the 1 minute here. Small little pullback on the 1 minute. Strong bullish candle on the 5 minute. There are about 2 minutes left on that 5 minute. Only thing stopping me here is I like to trade inversions. Although the market's pushing lower, we haven't got any inversions that I want to we are getting rejections off of these fair value gaps, which is valid as well. But we've been in such a down slot. Our last inversion was way up here, here, which if we would have stayed in this trade, we'd have been going down. It was like a sell model. But I've been kind of getting in and out along that way. This is my model here. It came up, smart money reversal, low risk buy, inversion, comeback, retest, entry, down. That's the model. But now we're so far down in this leg. Will it come down here and hit this relative equal lows? Possibly. Can it reverse at any point here? Possibly. So as we get lower and lower down the leg, the lower and lower our probability goes as far as taking shorts, and it may just slow crawl down. So again, another learning lesson, and I'll mark this down. We had when was this? At 8:30. At 8:30, we created this 8:30 fair value gap. Came down at 9:30. At 9:35, this is a 9:35 candle on the 5-minute. We inversed that 8:30 fair value gap. Continued down, pulled back all the way up to that inversion fair value gap at 10:05. Rejected. And by that time, it also created a bearish 5-minute fair value gap. So we have a inversion, 5-minute inversion, and a 5-minute bearish lapped on top of each other, which makes for a strong momentum to the downside, which it did. A strong rejection off of there. Next candle came up, didn't even tap it. Came up, next candle came up, didn't even tap it, pulled down. This was our entry here, off the rejection and the respect of consummate encroachment of that inversion. And we have a higher time frame inversion here. This is a 1-hour inversion, 5-minute inversion. This is a 5-minute inversion. It's a 1-hour inversion, 5-minute inversion, 5-minute bearish. Boom. And these are inverted from a bullish perspective. So that means it inverted bearish. So we have, in effect, a higher time frame bearish fair value gap, 5-minute bearish fair value gap, 5-minute bearish fair value gap. I say bearish because it inverted bearish. So when price came back up to retest, it rejected. And here we go. Now typically there's two entries we could have took here. We could have took the body close below here, which was the body close over here, which would have made for it. You know, we'd have entered here, and the next candle took us down. But then what does it do? It pulls back 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of pullback. So we would have been in drawdown for at least 5, 10, for at least 10 minutes. Half of that, we'd have been in drawdown for 10 minutes before we started to see some rejection of those areas. Now, there's two ways you could have handled the drawdown. Wow, look at that. So price did go down and hit that area. Yeah, we hit those relative equal lows. Yeah. How much farther will it go? Prior day lows are our next area of interest. 303. Looking at 303 here. Is our next draw on liquidity. We're getting a nice pullback on the 1 minute. So just to finish my thought here, we would have entered here. We could have held the trade looking for this area of interest. We would have entered here, stop loss maybe above this candle here. We're looking at Asia lows as our possible TP, relative equal lows, second TP, prior daily lows, third TP. Yeah, we'd have been looking here to see how we react off these fair value gaps. Seeing the rejection, came back down. Another possible entry, we could have waited for the pullback, but being as though we had such a strong displacement downward, and then the candle after that body closed downward, FOMO starts to kick in. So we would have probably went for our first entry model, which was the body close below that inversion that inverted that fair value gap. Or we could have waited for a time it was ticking down lower, maybe caught the entry up here after it passed this wick, and we had maybe about 30 seconds left. Entered here, got a kind of a better entry. Either way, the two entry models: close after fair value gap, wait for the retracement, enter, go down. So here we are again. We have our 5 minute fair value gap here after crossing Asia. We crossed Asia, created 5 minute, came back down, retested, boom. We created this 5 minute fair value gap here. Will it come back to retest? Will it come back to retest? Then shoot down towards prior day lows? Possibly. 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 So we're approaching that 1050 macro. So we'll see what price decides to do here. Looks like we're trying to go back up. Maybe we will retest that 5 minute fair value gap. After all, I'm looking for a photo that I had with these numbers. Those ATT numbers. That's weird. I just can't find it. Well, it looks like we came up to try to retest that 5 minute. Hasn't quite tapped it. I'm looking for it to tap there. can tap just above this line here and reject. Look at these wicks. Look at this rejection here. So there we go. Got above there. Oh, it continues to push. So see, that's why getting in below these areas here, we respected the constant encroachment of that bearish 5-minute fair value gap. And if you look on the 1 minute, it kind of tapped into that. There's a 1 minute fair value gap there. There's a 1 minute bearish fair value gap there that we tapped into. Initially rejected from, but now it's starting to push up. So now we're looking for inversions. So if we invert this 5 minute, that'd be a good indication for a reversal along with these wicks here. These bottom wicks, we have about, we do it, won't do it in this candle. So we have a new 5 minute candle here. We respected this 5 minute bearish fair value gap. Didn't invert it. We have our 1 minute here. We can invert this 1 minute. Get rid of this one here. We are sitting below our moving averages here. We're sitting above our 8 and our 20 moving average, below our VWAP and our 200. Price doesn't typically like to get too far away. These moving averages don't like to get too far away from each other. So when they do, and I see price in here, that's indication for longs. Try to bring these two moving averages closer together. And it's kind of aligning with some of our bullish objectives. So that could be more of a PM session type deal. So let's see what we are going to do now that we are here. Was that just a nice pullback? Similar to what was here, came down, pulled back here, down. Is this a pullback? Further down. Let's see, we didn't create any fair value gaps on the way up on the 1 minute, which I would have liked to seen. But we did. We have a small fair value gap here that if we body below would be an indication your price wants to head lower, which we did body below this fair value gap. Body below this fair value gap. So that was the little fair value gap there. Coming back up to retest it. And shoot above. Trapping shorts. Trapping shorts. So this fair value gap, even though it did invert it, it's so small that it wouldn't have been indication enough for me to enter. It looks like price is still respecting it because the wicks can do the damage, but the body tells a story. So being as though we didn't body inside this 5 minute, this 1 minute inversion, is still respecting it. And we're coming back up to retest it again. And this wick hold down these prices. If we are bearish, it should not break this area here. you could see price come up, and there's some stop losses sitting here for these shorts. Should come up, grab this liquidity, tap into this order block, and then shoot down. That's another possibility. All the while respecting this 1 minute and this and 5 minute. So these are the ATT numbers that I've been playing around with thanks to Will, a trader that I've come to respect and follows. It's WYLD on YouTube, Will, and this is the ATT method. So based on this method, it shows that after the 9:30 open, at the beginning of every hour starting at 10, you'll see 10:03, 10:11, 10:17. You'll see that price will create significant areas at these times. So let's see here. Currently it is 10:55. So let's see what the 10:47 candle did. Well, let's go to the 1 minute. You get better. So 10:47, and it can happen either a minute before, a minute after, which in this case, a minute after, at 10:48, we've created a low. So how about 53? 53, a minute before, we created a high there, and 59. No, we haven't got to 59 yet. So there's definitely a story to be told there, and I've used it to see, okay, at these areas, are we consistently creating lows or highs? And if it's creating consistently within these time parameters, we see that we're creating lows. That's indication that the market is going lower. We're creating highs more so than lows. It looks like the market may be going higher. Now we're entering a new hour. Let's see, at the 59, at 10:59, what will we create? And now it could happen at 58 or at 11, a minute before, a minute after. Will we break these highs at 59? If so, that may be telling a story that we could be looking for higher prices. And then the next area or time interest would be the 11:03 spot. So at 11:03, if we break these highs at 10:59, at 11:03, if we create another high or a higher low, there we go. So I'm not versed in that method. Like I said, I'm constantly learning. So you might want to check out Will, WYLD, on YouTube, and he has a video called Introducing the Intraday ATT Method. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check him out, and he can tell you better than I can, as this is his method. I just kind of put it in my toolbox and pull it out every now and then. I did have them on there, but I recreate these levels every day, and I must have got it erased on there, so I anchored it in there. Yeah, so we're anchored in there. So I kind of keep that there and kind of refer to it every now and then as just an extra confluence to my strategy. So yeah, Will's a pretty good trader, man. Young, um, very successful, very profitable. So the 57 candle, and we're at 58, and this is 59. So it looks like the 57 candle created a lower high. This is the 59 candle. And it looks like price is pushing upward. We had a sort of a V-shaped recovery here. We break these highs, invert this 1 minute. It looks like we'll be looking for higher prices. So our 59 candle didn't really do. We had a bullish kind of engulfing candle there. Our 11 o'clock candle kind of broke that lower high. Came up into here. It looks like we're engineering some equal highs here, which is telling me, along with these strong rejection wicks here, that we're creating liquidity. The market's engineering buy side liquidity here that will be taken on the move upward, which we have some low resistance liquidity sitting there. This trend line liquidity, let's call it. So if we inverse this 1 minute, along with this 5 minute, we inverse this 5 minute along with the 1 minute, we'd be looking at potential higher prices there. Right now you can see it's kind of consolidating. You got a little wedge, an upward wedge, like xylophone. That's what it reminds me of, a little xylophone. And we may just be breaking out. So we'll see. We'll draw it on here. Let's see which way price tends to break out of here. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We'll see what price do. We pretty good session today. We're up about 305 on our Apex account. Took a nice trade there on our pre-morning warm-up IQ account. And I say pre-morning warm-up not to disrespect this prop firm. This is a new prop firm for me. I like their sell. I like their platform. Deep charts, first time using it. Picked it up really quick. Currently up about 355 on this account. Picked this account up for again $9. If you like to take advantage of this welcoming offer they have, you can go to iqcapital.io, use code MAV and pick you up a 50K account for $9 and trade just like this. I didn't think it was real at first, but it's real. I'm here to tell you. You see me taking trades on it, and you pass the eval, you go to funded, and it is what it is. So, yeah, iqcapital.io, code MAV. So, thanks again, guys, for checking me out, whether it's here live or you're coming back, checking me out from the future just to see where it all started. This is it. This is it. You know, making my way through. Welcome to the journey. So, thanks again, guys, and I will see you next time.